Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Roma Revolution. I'm Ben, and coming up on today's episode we have the second leg of our Europa League quarter-final against Besiktas, and that is followed by a Serie A game against Torino. But since the last episode, the form has continued to be really good. We've only managed to play a couple of games in Serie A, beating Sampdoria 4-0 away from home with a really convincing performance, and then a scrappy 1-1 draw against Inter Milan. As you can see, the first leg of our Europa League quarter-final went to plan. We beat Besiktas away from home 4-2, so that puts us in really good stead going in to the second leg on this episode. All of that puts us, or keeps us, at 4th in Serie A. The gap to the top has closed ever so slightly. With 7 games to go, we're now 8 points behind Juventus, who've leapfrogged Milan at the top of the league. 4 points behind Lazio, but we are still 7 points ahead of 5th place Atalanta. So fingers crossed, 4th should definitely be ours, but it would be great if we could push in to those top 3 spaces. But let's get stuck in to the second leg of the Europa League tie, and this is the team we're going to do it with. We've got Pau Lopez in goal, a back 3 of Mertzetin, Smalling and Fazio, Zappacosta and Spinazzola as wing-backs, Diawara, Tonali and Cristante in the midfield, with Dzeko and Kalinic up front. Slightly rotated team, being the fact that we're 4-2 up and some players are just in need of a rest. Hopefully we can still get the job done. Obviously, they would require to score at least 3 goals to take them through, with our obviously 4 away goals being a really good, handy backup to have if this game does get a bit tight near the end. But hopefully we should have enough to get past Besiktas. It was a bit of an interesting first half against them in the first leg. We went into the break at 2-2, but we did come out and play a lot better in the second half, and obviously gave us that 2-goal cushion coming back here. If we win this, we get either Sevilla or CSKA Moscow in the next round, and an early chance from a Tonali free kick is headed onto the bar by Diawara. So we're looking positive in the early setting. 70% possession, 4 shots. As I say, we should have enough for this Besiktas side, and at the moment I think Sevilla were going into their second leg 2-0 up, so it's looking likely, if things obviously do remain the same, that we will have them in the semi-finals. But we're on the ball here through Zappacosta, but he's not been able to beat Barak to it, and Barak could find Diaby, who's through one-on-one with Pau Lopez, and Pau Lopez does really well to save. A quick break from Besiktas from an attack that looked likely to be ours, and we've now got the corner from it, and Kudu on the edge of the area. He's being hassled really well by Diawara, and it goes out for a throw, but the first we've seen of the potential pace going forward from Besiktas. But Tonali with the free kick, and it's well saved by Karius. Only parried as far as a defender who has to put it out for a corner, but a great effort from Tonali from the free kick. Can he follow it up with a decent corner? He tries. Karius can only punch clear as far as Cristante, who goes back to Zappacosta, and that again is all of that highlight. Really close there from Tonali. As I say, I think 1 goal, and that should probably just secure us the tie completely. We've not seen much of Besiktas, which I suppose is a positive in this first half. We've had plenty of it, but we've not quite been able to make most of the ball. But let's see if we can do something here. Zappacosta with the throw. Dzeko tries to head on, but he can't quite find his man. Cristante in the middle. Back to Dzeko. Dzeko switches play really well to Tonali, who's surging into an area. Set him with the cross. Kalinic. Tonali with a chance. Dzeko. Tonali again. And Sandro Tonali gets his first Roma goal. A bit scrappy, bit ping-pongy in the area, but it falls to Tonali on the edge, who made the great run to start with. Kalinic with a chance to shoot. Tonali with a chance to shoot. Dzeko does have a shot, but it falls only as far as Tonali. He's been brilliant since he's come in, and he may well have just scored the goal that takes us to the semi-finals of the Europa League. And we are that step closer to reaching the final, as the board would like us to do. Really good first half. Perhaps we should have put on more, or piled the pressure on a bit more and seen more than 1 goal, but hopefully we can come out and make this a convincing win in the second half. Only 2 shots for Besiktas, 11 for ourselves, frustratingly only 4 on target, but it is Besiktas who we see first in this second half, and Hutchinson beaten to it by Diawara. And it's back to him again, and Diawara nicks in, and Dzeko has a chance to set Kalinic free, and he does. Kalinic with the ball across to Spinazzola at the back post, who heads just over. That could have been the goal just to secure this game. But we're still looking threatening when we do get forward. And Fazio with the throw. Dzeko tries to nod on, but he can't quite. Smalling does beat Barak to it at the back, though. To Diawara with a great ball to Dzeko, who does find it on this right-hand side. Little ball back to Zappacosta. Dzeko, Kalinic, 2-0. And that is definitely that 20th goal of the season in all competitions for Nikola Kalinic. He was a player that at the start of the season was missing out due to the one-striker system, but we've obviously changed to the 5-3-2, and since then he has been in fine form. And another great headed goal, Dzeko with the cross in, and a really good, strong, dominant performance over Besiktas, which is seemingly sending us through to the semi-finals. CSKA Moscow and Sevilla drawing 0-0, so it will be Sevilla that will face Dortmund and Lyon battling it out for a space in the other semi-final, and they'll obviously play either, I think it's Braga or Salzburg. Let's have a look in a second, but Karius here with the goal kick to Lons, who's going to try and beat Dzeko. Can Dzeko beat off him? He can't, but it gets to Lejiak in the midfield, and it goes to Gökhan on this right-hand side. To Diaby. To Hutchinson. Cristante does really well to nab it off him, but he can't keep it. And Lons and Hutchinson maintain it again. Rabotcha on this left-hand side. Lons, who started this all off at the back with a great goal. Jermaine Lons. It's going to be a consolation for Besiktas. Frustrating to concede. But my word, what a goal we might have conceded too. Hutchinson finds Rabotcha on this right-hand side. Lons on the edge of the area, hits it into the top corner. Lopez with no chance. And it is 2-1 on the night, but 6-3 on aggregate. And let's just quickly make a couple of changes. Mainly for fitness, really. Spinazzola not having a great game on this left-hand side, but we will keep him on as Kolarov is out completely through suspension. Cristante can come off, and we'll bring Vertu on for him to play in that role. Dzeko struggling as well for fitness, so we'll bring Zaniolo on for him. Swap Zaniolo and Kalinic over, and Zaniolo can play more as an advanced forward as opposed to a complete forward. And they are the two changes we will make for now, and we have got another highlight. Fazio on the ball here. Goes all the way back to Pau Lopez, who spreads it to Diawara. He has got Spinazzola on this right-hand side if he can find him, and he goes back to Settin, who eventually does find Spinazzola, who's surging towards the area. It falls to Diawara. Dzeko with the header, but it's straight at Karius, and we can't quite make it 3. As I was saying, Salzburg and Braga the other semi-final. Quarter-final rather. Salzburg winning that one. So it looks like it's going to be Dortmund, Salzburg, and Roma, Sevilla in the next round. But Braga are coming back, so that could be the one hiccup in those 4. But we've really dominated this game. I think we've been unlucky to concede and also not to score more. I'm going to leave it as is. No one really struggling out there. And we have got players on the bench who can rotate back in for the Torino game. It looks like we're going to get one last highlight before the end of the game. Spinazzola to Settin, to Lopez in the goal. Fazio inside to Smalling, to Tonali, out to Zappacosta, who sends Kalinic on his way. Can we put a seal on the win? It's Spinazzola on the edge of the area to Tonali. Zappacosta with a shot. Carrier saves. A really well-worked move, found Zappacosta on the right-hand side, but he couldn't quite score. And Vertu with a corner from the chance. Zaniolo heads over. We couldn't quite put a third on tonight's victory, but we have won 2-1, 6-3 overall, and we have made it to the semi-finals of the Europa League. And fingers crossed, if we can win that, we will set up a final tie. And is there a chance that this could be the piece of silverware, our first piece of silverware for Roma? Fingers crossed it is. But before any of that, we've got Torino in the league, and I'll see you for that in a second. Couple of rotational changes then for the game against Torino, with some players also returning from suspensions and minor knocks. Mancini makes it back into the back 3, Fazio dropping out for him. Kolarov back on the left hand side, Spinazzola drops to the bench instead of him. Pellegrini in for Diawara, and Dzeko struggling a bit for fitness. So young Lamine Junior Tool will play up front alongside Kalinic. Fingers crossed we can get a result out of this one. Just keep pressure on the 3 above us. Juventus and Lazio do also play each other in this game week. So one of them or both of them might drop points. So it could be a way of really tightening up the the title race and see if we could play our part in it. As I say, I think there might just not be enough games left for us to do so, but if there's any chance we're going to do it, we've got to keep winning games, and we've got to win games like this today against Torino, who are in the bottom half of the table and should be fairly easy pickings. As you can see, Milan have already won, so if we only get a point today, we would be 9 points behind them. A win would put us 7 points behind them, and obviously Lazio and Juventus yet to play each other. But the first highlight of the game does fall to us, and Pellegrini to Cristante, Kalinic with a searching ball out to Kolarov, and he's found him, and Kolarov has a shot, but Sirigu turns it wide, and a good little counter-attack, really direct going forward, and Pellegrini now with a corner. Can we make it count? It's gone over everybody, and the ball has gone out for a throw-in. And that is that for the highlights. We've not had much of the ball, but when we have had it, it looks like we've made it count. We're going to demand a little bit more. As I say, a team like Torino really struggling in Serie A. They're down in 14th. We're 15th before the game today. A team we really should be beating, and beating fairly easily. And as I say, if we do, we can just keep pressure on this title race, which it would be great to be a part of, to go alongside our really good European form. Obviously, it's difficult playing so many games. We have had to rotate the squad quite a lot recently, and that is a really boring first half. We've seen one highlight. We've not done enough at all. Despite having 8 shots, 6 on target, we've only seen one of them, and fingers crossed we can turn it round in the second half and give a better showing of ourselves to close that gap on Lazio. Obviously, if they lose, there would only then be 2 points between us, and that really does give us a chance to maybe finish in the top 3 as opposed to settling for the 4th place berth we seem destined for at the moment. We're still seeing nothing from us, so we're going to make some changes. Tool struggling up front, so Dzeko can come on for him. He wasn't fit enough for a full game. Was trying to rest him and give him a full rest, but obviously with Tool's performance, he's going to have to come on and try and make a difference. The midfield really struggling as well, actually. Tonali can come off. He'll come off for Diawara, who can go in there and play a role for us. And fingers crossed, those couple of changes can just make the difference. We're going to demand some more as well. And hopefully we can see a bit of us and be able to get even one goal just to steal the game, but it's a highlight for them. Baselli with the ball across. Zaza. Pau Lopez has put it in his own goal. And again, we should really be winning. We're now losing, and it's a nightmare for Pau Lopez. Baselli with the ball across. Zaza to him, and Pau Lopez just catches it and carries it over his line. I don't know what he's doing at all. An absolute shocker from Lopez. And is this going to be the game that sees us out of the title race? We then only have 4 points between us and Napoli. So we'd then really be putting pressure on that below us as well. We need to make one last change. Just what can we do to change this up? Spinazzola is going to come on the left. Kolarov not having a good game at all. We're going to make Dzeko attacking in his target man role. And we really do have to go for this. Pau Lopez has put us in all sorts of trouble. Kolarov with the long throw. It's Kalinic with the head on. It falls to Setin, who I think is going to be offside. Is he? He is. It looked like we may have equalised through Mert Setin, but Kalinic nods on. Setin struggling to keep himself onside. And we've got 10 more minutes to find a goal that we so dearly need. We've been really, really poor. And we've come away to Torino, and as time ticks by, it looks like the really good victory against Besiktas is going to be completely and utterly cancelled out with an awful loss against Torino. And there's only one man to blame, and unfortunately it's our goalkeeper, Pau Lopez. It is a loss. We're going to get aggressive. It's far from pleasing. We've not been good enough. And that, I think, has killed all chances that we had, albeit slim, of potentially picking up the Serie A title. We're going to have to probably settle for 4th. 3rd is looking highly unlikely as well. And I think the focus will have to switch to winning the Europa League. And looking ahead, those will be the games that we will come back from, therefore. 2 games in Serie A will be played in between the episodes, but we'll then come back for both legs of that semi-final against Sevilla. And fingers crossed, we can make it through to the final and go for that Europa League trophy. I hope you have enjoyed the episode today, and if you have, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel for more Football Manager content. Obviously trying to hit that 50 subscriber mark. I think at the time of filming we're on 41, so we're not far away. And thank you very much for popping along and watching.